Let's look at 10 options at the NFL Combine
10.
offensively that the Vikings should be looking at. All right, welcome back to the Onebar and Lupagus show. I'm Onebar with Lupagus. It's draft season. The Combine starts this week. I believe defensive line starts on Thursday. But who cares about them? We're talking offense. We're talking 10 guys that you guys should have your peepers on. Come Combine time. They might be in purple. You never know.
Speaking of peepers, peep this new little bar down here and subscribe to the channel. Smack that button with your fingers, with your butt cheek. Don't matter. Hit it over and over again. Actually, it's not going to help us if you hit it more than once. You're just going to subscribe and unsubscribe. But hit it. Make sure
you get their emotions. Grab yourself a lift bridge. Check out That's Badass wood art. And check out these 10 freaking stallions, future Hall of Famers for the Minnesota Vikings. Lupagus. And we're just, I don't know. I think it's fair to say we just pick some guys that we might like. Maybe we're intrigued by.
We could have picked about 100 guys. So, yeah, we narrowed it down to 10, 5 each. And, yeah, it was tougher to pick just 5 than I thought it would be.
You pick the same guys every time. Who you got?
Well, let's start with Zay Flowers, wide receiver from Boston College, a guy who gets mocked to the Vikings a lot because he's probably going to be there and super dangerous with his hands, the ball in his hands. What I want to see with him now, I don't know if you guys saw these pictures, but he bulked way the hell up. He's added like 10 pounds of pure ass muscle. This guy's jacked right now.
Muscle. He's got 10 pounds of ass muscle.
Well, he's got ass muscle. He's got pectacles. It's beautiful. So I want to see if that's affected him, his speed, his agility, the way he moves, his quickness. So I want to see if he can move the way he did with this added bulk to his frame. So I think that's key for the Vikings to watch this guy because he's definitely a viable option at 23.
Yeah. I can't wait to watch that guy. I mean, selfishly, when it comes to the Combine, cornerbacks, wide receivers, always the most fun to watch. And then obviously the defensive linemen and offensive linemen, just because they're so big. It's wonderful.
And you never know when something's going to come flopping out either.
We've seen that multiple times. Speaking of flopping out, let's go to my guy. Let's go to Eric Gray, running back. I had to get a running back in the mix. I got to say, Eric Gray is, I enjoy him quite a bit. 1,300 yards, 11 touchdowns, 5'10", 211 pounds. And why do I got my peepers on this guy? I mean, he's going to be like probably an early day 3 pick. Complimentary back. He's like a solid number 2, potentially a number 1. And he creates yards. He dances around. He makes shit happen. He's not a north and south type runner. And I think a guy like Eric Gray would be an option, obviously, if Alexander Madison wasn't coming back, because he kind of fits that role where maybe throw Ty Chandler in with this guy, but he wouldn't be a guy you're like, oh, he's going to be our number 1 back right off the bat. Violent.
If Cook goes, I don't think we're going to have a number 1 back. I think it's going to be a lot of rotation.
That's why he fits perfectly.
Eric Gray.
1,300 yards. Go watch him. He's fun as hell to watch. He's good.
Yeah, I've watched a lot of running backs, and I haven't really not liked one yet. So I'll put Eric Gray on the old list.
Catches the ball out of the backfield. Ooh-wee.
Wow, you got me now. I got my next one here. You put up on the board first, or you want me to say it? There it is. Anthony Richardson, quarterback, Florida. Vikings pick 23. There's a lot of rumors, scuttlebutt, what's going to happen with Kirk Cousins' contract. Sounds like the Vikings don't want to give him another 1-year deal, whether you believe that or not. So it sounds like Cousins play this thing out, or you're going to sign him for 3 more years. But picking 23, the one quarterback who could potentially fall there, at least not fall to 23, but at least fall into a range where you could maybe move up and get him, is Anthony Richardson. We all know the athlete this guy is. What he can do when he escapes from the pocket, takes off with his legs, it's pretty damn unbelievable. 2 things I want to see. Number 1, just how he throws the football. That is one of his knocks. Doesn't always throw an accurate ball. But number 2, and most importantly, I want to see how he is when you put him up on the board. Have him read some defenses, see how what his football IQ actually is. That's something I think the Vikings need to know about Anthony Richardson. And I want to know everything about him because I think he's the one quarterback who could potentially be an option for the Vikings at round 1.
Crazy. He's going to be long gone.
I'm sure he will be. But if anybody's going to fall, it's going to be him.
Oh, he's going to put a show on at the Combine. People are just going to be dropping their pants when it comes to Richardson. I think Eagles ends up going before Levis when all is said and done.
Yeah, I mean, I just saw his odds to go number 1 overall were like just shot up a bunch of percentage too, which would be shocking. But it's the NFL draft. We've seen this shit before.
He's going to be fun one to watch. Speaking of fun, let's talk about a freaking center. Now, this guy's going to be fun to watch. Jarrett Patterson, Notre Dame, center, big man, 6'4", 310, good anchor, tough as shit, good pass blocker, 4-year starter. Again, another day 3 guy. And why do I got Jared Patterson of anybody get on there is, I don't know. I think when all is said and done, they're not going to get in that first group of centers. I think they're going to have to start dipping into those second group where it's a day 3 center. But a guy like Patterson is once seen as like a no-brainer day 1, day 2 pick. And he just kind of, had a shitty Senior Bowl. He's going to come out trying to be fired up, trying to erase that Senior Bowl. And I think Patterson is going to be right in with those guys that we start looking at center.
I can't believe you said a center is going to be fun to watch. It's just two things that don't really go together.
Being very sarcastic.
Oh, were you? I think you're very excited.
No, he's gonna be boring to watch. But I'm banking on him to put up a ton of reps and just get me excited. Just get me excited for Jarrett.
Yeah, no, I was gonna pick a center too. I couldn't decide on one, so I just went with a different option. But I was
gonna say there's definitely better centers in the draft. I'm talking myself out of any sort of interior offensive lineman until like round 4 and beyond. I just don't think it's going to be that much of a big difference as far as what this team has right now.
Well, and we have to see what happens with Garrett Bradbury, number 1. That's going to determine when the Vikings look at a center and if they look at a center. Because Schlottmann's still around for one more year, right?
No, I thought he's a free agent.
Is he a free agent? Well, whatever. Either way, if Bradbury stays, then it's definitely going to be probably a day 3 pick. If he goes, then definitely could be earlier. So
I gotta be honest. When it comes to Schlottmann, I don't know if I care if he's a free agent or not.
I'm just saying, then maybe you want to get a guy earlier if Schlottmann's going to be your option.
I like it. Absolutely.
All right, my next guy, I'm going back to wide receiver. A guy I'm not expecting to perform well at the combine. Jackson Smith-Njigba, wide receiver, Ohio State. He's not a freak athlete. He's not going to run a blazing 40. He might look slow in the shuttles and when he's catching the football, but potentially, what if he does? What if he does run faster than people think? What if he looks quicker? He could surprise and wow everybody, and then all of a sudden he's shooting up the board. So that's definitely a guy I'm curious to see how he performs. My bar is down here for what he's going to run. I'm wondering if he can surpass it or not. And then the health of this guy too. Is he fully healthy? Those things don't get released until about a week before the draft. These injury reports that they do at the combine, but that's gonna be huge, I think, for Njigba too, is his medical and then just how he runs.
Yep. Very intrigued by him. And you bring up a good point. It's always very depressing come combine time when those medicals start coming out in like April and somebody's just like,
yeah.
Who was it last year? Was it Ajabo? No, he tore his ACL. Just you always see a guy that's all of a sudden just like, all right, blows up the board.
Yeah, it sucks. It's usually like the Tuesday before the draft, at least get released.
Does suck. All right, I'm going to the man, the myth, the legend, a guy that we've gotten blown up. T-Bass, not only T-Bass, but a handful of guys have thrown him in the comments, and I finally checked him out. Andre, ready for this? Yoshivas. Yoshivas, 6'3", 200, Blazer, Princeton, absolutely lit it up. I mean, you go watch it, watch his tape, you read all of his profiles, they all say the same things. Elite athlete, speedy as hell, strength, great ball skills. He could possibly run anywhere from the high 4.2s to low 4.3s. This dude's draft stock has just absolutely exploded. And when it comes to the combine, he's only going to get more run because not only is he fast as hell, but I already said it, but he's 6'3", 200 pounds. When he was going out there, I mean, Princeton didn't play against the most toughest competition, but you've heard it before. He was definitely a man amongst boys. He was just making them look silly.
Yeah, I've been meaning to look at him. I've been trying to watch a couple draft prospects every single night before I go night. And Andre Yoshivas, definitely one who's been on the list. How are his hands? Can he catch?
He can catch. I think a big thing with him was obviously his competition, and I don't think his route running tree is overly that extensive. I think he was pretty much go out run those guys because the best part is this quarter. I don't even know what the Princeton quarterback is.
No one does.
It didn't matter if he was double covered. It didn't matter. They threw it to him, and he got it.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna check him out tonight.
Be pleasantly surprised.
I have high expectations.
All right.
I'm going to go with the guy who kind of was a noisemaker at the Senior Bowl. Looks like a Viking. It is North Dakota State guard, tackle, center, whatever you want to call him. Cody Mock, the man who is missing teeth, kind of looks like the Cowardly Lion, had a baby with Hacksaw Jim Duggan. What I want to see from him is just, his short shuttle, how he moves laterally, and also his strength. How much does he bench? Is he going to be a guy who can play inside and hold up against these big, beastly nose tackles and big, beefy defensive tackles? Because the Vikings take him, I mean, potentially early, he could be a fit at guard. I think he would be like just your swing O lineman who could fill in anywhere. And remember, no one's really talking about it now, but during the season last year, when we had some injuries on that O line, everybody was bitching about our depth. So either you guys sign someone in free agency to bolster that depth or find someone in the draft. And Cody Mock's the guy you kind of see in that second, third round range. So I'm definitely going to keep my eye on him and see if he can build off that strong Senior Bowl that he had last month.
Yeah, I mean, how can you not love the guy? It's not unlovable. Love him. I think he's going to go pretty damn early, but we'll see. Love him. All right, I am going into the wide receiver. I'm going A.T. Perry, wide receiver, Wake Forest, and this one's easy for me. I always love tall-ass wide receivers, and that is exactly what he is. Can you guess who our tallest wide receiver is on our roster right now?
Who actually plays?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say it is KJ Osborne.
No, it is not. It is Adam Thielen.
Thielen. My second guess.
And our tallest wide, I mean, he's 6'2". 6'2" is our tallest wide receiver. I mean, Perry, 6'5". 6'5". And he's going to be, again, my guys have a lot of themes, mid roundish to 5'6", whatever. And that's what he is. He's a red zone target. I mean, he's a 50-50 ball guy. He's a guy that maybe rounds out your depth chart. He's a maybe 4th, 5th wide receiver that over time gets up there. But not only with his size, all-around athlete. I think he's going to look damn good at the combine. Did basketball, track, back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons at Wake Forest. But I just love the fact that he would add some size to a wide receiver group that definitely needs it, especially with Adam Thielen most likely going bye-bye.
Yeah, I'd love to have something different in our wide receiver cupboard, somebody who brings that size factor. So, A.T. Perry, take a look at him.
Line up inside, can line up outside, in the back of the end zone, catching a touchdown. Boom, let's go.
Wow. All right, well, my next guy is a guy I've spoke a lot about, did that little my Draft Crush video. If you're a Patreon, hopefully you check that out. He was on there. It is the backup from Texas, running back, not Bijan.
Oops, wrong one. Keep going.
It is Rashawn Johnson. What I want to see about this guy, he's like 6'2", 220-something pounds, a big back. He looks really, really fast on tape. So I want to actually see what he runs, what kind of speed he really does have, because when he gets going in the open field, he looks like a lot faster than he should be. I also want to see how he catches the football. I mean, he looks like he has very soft hands on the highlights that I've watched. So I want to see if he's a natural pass catcher, because I love Rashawn Johnson, and a guy I see kind of go around 3 to 5 anywhere, depending on what simulator you're using. But I do think the Vikings are going to draft a running back. You had Eric Gray, Rashawn Johnson, another guy I'm going to watch very, very closely.
Yeah, he just seems like a guy that's going to go a lot earlier than anybody thinks.
And he's got barely any tread on his tires. I mean, he's got barely any carries because he's playing behind Bijan.
I love him. All right, my last guy, again, not overly sexy, but I got to put a quarterback up there, and I'm going Jake freaking Hanner, Senior Bowl MVP. And, this guy is like straight up the perfect dude to come in and just like be a backup quarterback right off the bat and see what happens, because he's got the IQ, he's got the instincts, he's an above average athlete, and everybody, again, says the same thing. If he was bigger and he was a little bit stronger, they'd be talking round one with him, no problem. And again, something that they always say is just this guy continues to exceed expectations. Whatever he does, he does it, and he does it better than anybody thinks. And Jake Hanner is a quarterback that I don't think anybody knows where he's going to go.
No, the dude's a gamer. I mean, he gets in there and he's scrappy, and he'll keep fighting, and he'll keep, escaping pressure to try to find the open guy. So you love that about your quarterback. Yeah, I was almost going to put him on here too. He did have I guess a good Senior Bowl game. The week was kind of up and down, but how he throws the football. I'm curious how he runs too. How fast this guy is. He can scamper, but what's his long speed? What's his 40?
He can scamper, like? But I don't think he's going to get any yards on the ground. He might. They compare him to Taylor Heineke.
Yeah, actually, it's a good one. Does he stay away from windows?
But I believe his career rushing yards was like negative 109.
So he's running backwards, running away from people.
He is. He's trying to make shit happen. So Jake Hainer, guy, let us know in the comments who you're looking at the combine. If any of these guys tickle your fancy, we'd love to hear more.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would like to know what you guys think about this. The longest movie ever made was 85 hours long.